Many people feel nervous when they are not doing anything. They believe that doing nothing is lazy or a waste of time. In modern life, we are taught to stay busy. We work, plan, and try to fill every moment. Some people even feel guilty when they stop to rest. But why do we feel this way? One reason is fear. When we are still, we begin to notice our thoughts. Sometimes, these thoughts are not pleasant. We remember things that make us sad or anxious. We notice our worries about the future. So, we keep ourselves busy to avoid these feelings. We move from one task to another, hoping the noise will cover the silence inside us. Another reason is habit. Since we were children, we were told to be productive. At school, at home, even at work, we are rewarded for doing more. Rest is often seen as something we earn only after we finish everything. So we grow up thinking that doing nothing is wrong or even dangerous. But this fear comes from misunderstanding. Doing nothing does not mean we are useless. It does not mean we are lazy or weak. Sometimes it takes great courage to stop, to sit quietly with ourselves, with no plans, no goals, and no distractions. It can be uncomfortable at first, but in this stillness, something important can happen. When we stop, we begin to feel again. Not the noise of daily life, but something deeper. We may notice our own sadness, but we may also notice peace. We may notice pain, but also something soft behind it. This is where true understanding begins. Not when we are busy, but when we are still. The fear of doing nothing is a sign that we have forgotten how to just be. We think we must do something to be valuable, but who we are is not measured by our actions alone. There is wisdom in stillness, and sometimes doing nothing is the first step to finding it. In today's world, we are surrounded by movement. Phones are always ringing, messages are always coming, and there is always something new to watch or read. We are told that we must keep going, keep producing, and keep improving. This creates the illusion that constant activity is the same as a meaningful life. But is it really? Many people confuse busyness with purpose. If their calendar is full, they feel important. If they are always doing something, they believe they are moving forward. But not all movement brings us closer to where we want to be. Sometimes we walk in circles without noticing we are lost. We are so busy that we forget to ask why we are doing all these things. This illusion of activity gives us comfort. It makes us feel safe. If we are busy, we don't have time to feel lonely. If we are always moving, we don't have to face deeper questions about our life. But running away from stillness does not bring peace. It only hides the emptiness behind more noise. It is like a man trying to fix a broken clock by shaking it harder. The hands move, yes, but the time is not right. In the same way, we fill our days with tasks that make us feel alive, but we do not feel truly alive. We are just moving. Doing nothing breaks this illusion. When we stop, we see clearly. We notice how tired we are. We see how much we try to prove ourselves. We realize that many of the things we chase are not what we truly want. The activity was only a mask. Some of the most important things in life do not come from effort. Love, peace, and truth are not forced. They rise naturally when we allow space for them. But when we are always doing something, there is no room for them to enter. To break free from the illusion of constant activity, we must be willing to pause. We must be brave enough to stop and listen. Not to the outside world, but to something deeper. In that silence, we begin to return to ourselves. If you sit quietly in nature, you will notice something. The world is not always moving. Trees do not rush. Mountains do not try to go anywhere. Rivers flow, but they do not hurry. Everything happens in its own time. There is no stress, no schedule. Just life, unfolding naturally. In the modern world, we forget this lesson. We believe that more action means more success. But nature teaches a different truth. A flower does not bloom faster just because we want it to. It opens when the season is right, no sooner, no later. Stillness is not a problem. It is part of the process. When we look at a calm lake, we feel peaceful. When we hear the wind move through the trees, we often breathe more deeply. These are not just beautiful moments. They are reminders. They show us that silence and stillness are powerful. Not because they do something, but because they allow things to be as they are. Nature is full of wisdom, but it does not speak with words. It shows us that everything has a rhythm. The sun rises and sets. The moon comes and goes. There is rest in the night and movement in the day. But even the sun does not shine all the time. Darkness too has its place. We are part of nature, but we often forget. We try to live like machines, always on, always working. But we are not machines. We need rest. We need silence. We need time to stop, to breathe, and to be still. Otherwise we lose our natural rhythm. Doing nothing in the way nature does is not a waste. It is a return to balance. A tree does not worry about its future. It stands quietly, and it grows. We too can grow in stillness. Not by forcing life, but by trusting it. Sometimes, the most important thing we can do is to sit, like a stone by the river, and watch the world pass. Not to change it, not to fix it, just to be part of it, fully and quietly. In that stillness, we may find a kind of truth that words cannot explain. In the rush of daily life, we often say, "I don't have time." But is that really true? Or have we simply forgotten how to spend time in a meaningful way? Time is not something we lose. It is something we fill. And often, we fill it with things that do not truly matter. We check our phones many times a day. We scroll, we click, we reply. Hours pass like minutes. Then we say we are too busy to rest, too tired to think, too stressed to enjoy the moment. But the truth is, we are not running out of time. We are running away from silence. Silence is a treasure we no longer recognize. In silence, we can hear the quiet voice inside us. Not the voice of fear or desire or pressure, but the voice that reminds us who we are when no one is watching. This voice does not shout. It waits, and it speaks only when we stop long enough to listen. Many people feel uncomfortable in silence. They turn on music, TV, or podcasts, even when they are alone. It is not because they enjoy noise. It is because silence can feel strange. It can feel empty. But silence is not empty. It is full of space. Space for truth, space for rest, space for being. When we allow ourselves to do nothing, even for a short time, we begin to notice time again. 1 minute feels longer. A breath feels deeper. A simple sound, a bird, a breeze, the hum of life feels more alive. This is not magic. This is what happens when we return to the present moment without trying to escape. Time and silence are not enemies. They are friends we have ignored. When we stop filling every moment with noise and action, we begin to see how rich each moment already is. We do not need to chase time. We need to sit with it. Doing nothing gives us back what we have lost. Not more hours in the day, but more life in each hour. Not more to do, but more space to feel. In this way, doing nothing becomes a doorway. Not to emptiness, but to something very full and very real. There is a part of us that always wants to do more, achieve more, and be seen. This part is often called the ego. It is the voice that says, "I must be important," "I must be successful," or "I must not be left behind." The ego does not like stillness, because stillness does not give it anything to show. When we are busy, the ego feels alive. It says, "Look how much I am doing. Look how hard I am working." It wants others to notice. It wants to prove that we are worthy. But this constant need to be busy is not about peace. It is about fear. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being no one. The ego believes that if we stop doing, we will lose our value. So it pushes us to fill our time. It whispers that rest is lazy, that doing nothing is dangerous. But these are lies. Our true worth does not come from what we do. It comes from who we are, deep inside. Doing nothing is a challenge to the ego. It is like turning off the lights in a room full of mirrors. The ego can no longer see itself. It becomes quiet, unsure, even afraid. But this is not a bad thing. It is a moment of freedom. When we stop listening to the ego, we begin to feel something more honest. We feel the simple truth of being alive, without needing to prove it. We see that we are enough, not because of our titles, our achievements, or our busy days, but simply because we exist. The ego is loud, but it is not strong. It needs noise to survive. Stillness weakens it. That is why doing nothing is not easy. It is a kind of inner work. It is not lazy. It is deep. It is the act of saying, "I am okay, even if I am not doing anything right now." Letting go of the ego's need to stay busy is not the end of effort. It is the beginning of honest effort. Effort that comes from the heart, not from fear. And in that space, we can begin to live more gently, more clearly, and more truly. Many people think strength means power, control, or constant action. We are taught to act quickly, to fix problems, to always have a plan. But true strength is not always loud. It does not always look like action. Sometimes, the greatest strength is in choosing not to act. This does not mean we should ignore problems or avoid responsibility. But there are moments in life when the best response is stillness. When someone speaks to us with anger, it is easy to react. But to stay calm, to not return anger with anger, that takes real strength. It is not weakness to pause. It is power under control. In many situations we act too quickly. We try to fix everything, even things that cannot be fixed. We rush to give answers, to offer help, or to protect others from their own experiences. But not every moment needs action. Some moments need space. Some moments need quiet. True strength is knowing when to wait. It is trusting that some things will unfold without our effort. Like a seed growing underground, not all change is visible. Not all progress can be seen right away. When we step back and allow life to move naturally, we are not giving up. We are showing trust. We are showing patience. Doing nothing can also be a kind of courage. It takes courage to sit with uncertainty, to not run, not escape, not distract ourselves, to simply stay present with whatever is happening. This kind of presence is not easy, but it is powerful. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is nothing. Not because we don't care, but because we understand. We understand that life is not always ours to fix. We allow others and ourselves to grow at their own pace. That is a quiet kind of strength, but it is real. In this way, doing nothing becomes a form of wisdom. It is not the action of someone who is lazy. It is the choice of someone who sees clearly. Someone who knows that peace is not always found in movement. Sometimes, peace waits for us in stillness, and we must be strong enough to meet it there. When we experience pain, loss, disappointment, sadness, we often want to do something to make it stop. We distract ourselves with work, entertainment, or conversation. We try to fix our feelings, to solve our sadness like a problem. But the heart does not heal through force. It heals through space. Doing nothing can feel strange when we are hurting. It feels like we should act, move, or change something. But sometimes the best medicine is stillness. When we stop trying to escape our pain, we begin to feel it fully. And though it may hurt, this honest feeling is the beginning of healing. Pain does not disappear just because we ignore it. It hides inside and waits. If we never stop, it never speaks. But when we are still, when we sit quietly with our pain, without judgment or resistance, it begins to soften. Slowly, the heart starts to open again. This kind of healing does not come from thinking. It does not come from advice or answers. It comes from presence. Just being here, without running away, like sitting beside a friend in silence, offering comfort without words. We can offer the same kindness to ourselves. There is a deep strength in being with what hurts. It takes courage to not turn away. But this is not weakness. It is trust. It is saying to your heart, I am here. I am not afraid of you. And in that moment, something changes. The pain may still be there, but it no longer controls you. You begin to feel free. Doing nothing gives the heart a chance to rest. Not to forget, but to breathe. Not to erase, but to hold gently. This is how the heart heals. Not through action, but through patience, through quiet, and through the deep wisdom of stillness. We often look outside for healing, but much of it is already inside us. We just need to stop, be quiet, and listen. The heart knows what it needs, and sometimes all it asks is that we stop trying to fix it, and instead, just be with it, in silence, for a little while. Many of us feel the need to control life. We plan our days, set goals, make decisions, and expect things to happen a certain way. When life follows our plan, we feel safe. But when it does not, we feel fear, frustration, or even failure. We believe that if we stop managing everything, life will fall apart. But is that really true? Life is not a machine that needs to be controlled at every moment. It is more like a river. It flows with its own rhythm, sometimes slow, sometimes fast. When we try to control the river, we become tired. We build walls, push against the current, and fight the natural direction. But if we let go, we may begin to float. We may realize that the river knows the way. Letting life unfold does not mean we give up or become careless. It means we stop forcing. We stop thinking that we must control every outcome. We allow space for life to surprise us, for things to grow in their own time, for beauty to arrive without our effort. Doing nothing can be a practice of deep trust. It is the act of stepping back and allowing life to move. Sometimes the answers we look for come when we stop searching. Sometimes the right path appears only when we stop trying to make one. We often believe that action means progress and non-action means failure. But some of the most important moments in life happen in quiet. A deep breath before speaking, a pause before making a big decision, a silent morning with no plans. These are not empty moments. They are full of meaning if we allow them to be. When we stop interfering, we start seeing. We see the small things, a smile, a sound, a shift in the wind. We see that life is always moving, even when we are not. And we learn that not every problem needs a solution. Some things just need time. Letting life unfold is not easy. It takes faith. But in that faith, there is peace. There is freedom from the pressure to control. And in that freedom, we may find that life, when left alone, often knows exactly what to do. In a world full of noise and speed, presence is often overlooked. We think power must be loud or visible. We believe we must say something, do something, or change something to make a difference. But true presence, The quiet act of simply being here is more powerful than we realize. Have you ever sat with someone who didn't try to fix you, didn't try to speak, but just stayed with you in silence? That presence alone can bring comfort, peace, and healing. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It simply holds the moment with calm attention. This is the kind of power that cannot be seen, but it can be deeply felt. Presence begins when we stop trying to be somewhere else. When we are not reaching for the next moment, the next task, or the next goal. When we are not lost in thoughts about yesterday or tomorrow. We simply arrive here, now, just as we are. Doing nothing helps us return to this state. When we stop moving, we notice what is around us. We begin to feel the details of the moment, the light, the breath, the quiet. We become part of the moment, instead of trying to control it. And in that stillness, something opens. Being present does not mean we have no thoughts or emotions. It means we are not controlled by them. We let them come and go, like clouds in the sky. We do not chase them, and we do not run away. We remain steady, like the sky itself, open, silent, and vast. This is not easy in a busy life, but the more we practice doing nothing, the more natural it becomes. We begin to bring presence into everyday moments, washing dishes, walking, listening, even waiting. These become chances to return to ourselves. And when we are truly present, others can feel it. We don't need to say much. Our calm becomes their calm. Our stillness invites others to slow down too. This is the subtle power of presence. It does not force. It invites. It does not command. It holds. And sometimes that is more powerful than anything we could say or do. Most people are afraid of emptiness. We try to fill it with things, possessions, plans, entertainment, and even constant thinking. We are told that a good life is a full life. So we chase after more success, more knowledge, more experiences. But what if emptiness is not something to fear? What if it is something to welcome? In nature, emptiness is not a mistake. The open sky, the wide ocean, the silent space between stars, these are not useless. They are full of possibility. They hold space for life to move, to breathe, to grow. Emptiness is not the absence of meaning. It is the space where meaning can appear. In our own lives, we often feel uncomfortable when things are quiet or still. We wonder, what should I be doing right now? But sometimes, the answer is nothing. Not because we are lazy, but because something important happens when we stop filling every moment. When we embrace emptiness, we begin to feel free. We are no longer trapped by the need to always be doing. We no longer believe that our value depends on how busy we are. We begin to enjoy space, in our time, in our mind, in our heart. This does not mean we avoid life. It means we live it differently. We allow room for rest, for silence, for reflection. We become more careful about what we say yes to. We stop chasing things that do not truly matter. We begin to live more simply and with more peace. Emptiness, when accepted, becomes fullness of another kind. It becomes the peace of not needing to prove anything, the joy of not always being in control, the beauty of seeing life as it is, without needing to change it. Living this way takes courage. The world may not understand it, but slowly you will begin to feel the truth of it. You will see that doing nothing, embracing space, and letting go of constant activity is not giving up. It is waking up. To embrace emptiness is to live with open hands and an open heart. It is to say, this moment is enough. I am enough. And in that simple knowing, we find a deep, quiet happiness that no amount of doing could ever bring. As we come to the end of this reflection, I invite you to take a quiet breath. Not to change anything, not to improve, but simply to feel that you are here. This path of non-doing is not about escaping life. It is about returning to it, without pressure, without force, with calm awareness. Doing nothing is not a skill to master. It is a way of living with gentleness. It is a choice we make again and again, to pause, to observe, and to trust that being is enough. In this space, we learn to stop chasing, to stop performing, and to let life move through us in its own time. There is no perfect way to live this. Some days you may feel restless, other days peaceful. That is natural. What matters is not what you achieve, but how kindly you walk the path. Even a small moment of stillness is a step toward a quieter heart. In this fast-moving world, choosing stillness is a quiet act of courage. It goes against everything we are taught. But within that silence, there is a deep wisdom that waits patiently for us to listen. And when we do, we often find that the peace we've been searching for was never far away. If this message has brought even a moment of calm or clarity to your day, I am truly grateful. To those who have taken the time to watch, to leave a kind comment, to support this channel with a like, a subscription, or a super thanks, please know that your presence is deeply appreciated. It is not taken for granted. Your quiet support allows this space to exist, not as a place of noise or pressure, but as a place of rest, a place where we can simply be human, without masks or demands. Wherever you are, whatever your path looks like, may you carry with you the gentle strength of doing nothing. And may you remember, you are not behind. You are not missing anything. Life is not waiting for you to catch up. It is here, now, unfolding with you. Thank you for being here.